Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and as always, I have another special guest for you. Dell Smitherman, who's running for state Democrat, is here in the building with me. He'll be my guest for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Miles, and I am Miss Caribbean United States 2013, and you're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and my guest for the evening is none other than Dell Smitherman. He is the Democrat for State Senate right here on Beyond Focus TV. Dell, welcome to Beyond Focus. Lydia? I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good.
How's the race been going for you so far?
Well, it's been about 4 or 5 months since we started this race. It's been hectic, a hectic pace. Keeps the energy flowing.
Yes, it does.
But the campaign has been wonderful. We've been having great conversations with people at their doors, at the train stations, at the churches. We've been at senior centers, and the conversations have been fantastic. The message is resonating with voters, and we feel really good about the next 3 days, wrapping this up on September 9th with a victory.
It looks like it's definitely going to be a victory because you've touched some great ground. But what I want tonight is to really let our Beyond Focus TV viewers know about you. Mm-hmm. Know about you, the person, what you're bringing to the table. So when they go out to vote 3 days from now, they'll have a full understanding of who you are and what exactly you'll be bringing to the table.
Okay.
So let's take it back a little bit. Let's start with your background information. Let's talk about growing up in Brooklyn, your schooling, all that good stuff. So they really know you're a real person doing this and you've been through the system and you know what it's all about.
Yes, indeed. I think that's one of the things that resonate most with people is that I've lived in Brooklyn my entire life, haven't left, and I'm raising kids in the same community that I grew up in. So I grew up in public housing, pink houses.
Pink houses.
Lived there till I was in my early 20s. We moved around the district a few times. Once I met my wife, until we could afford to buy a home. We became homeowners through the grace of God, and 2 great union jobs that demanded decent wages that allowed us to pay the price of buying a home. That was 10 years ago. We're now living in Canarsie with our 3 kids. And in those 10 years, the opportunity for others to make that transition to home ownership is almost impossible.
Wow.
The price of homes has become astronomical. Even rents that we see nowadays are skyrocketing, while at the same time, wages continue to go down. So those are big issues for me. But, went to Brooklyn Tech to high school, so go Tech. Mm-hmm. And left high school, went into the City Volunteer Corps where, went around and did different things in the City Volunteer Corps under David Dinkins.
Right.
Did some construction jobs, did some jobs, assistant for kindergarten classes, did some clerical work, did some work with seniors at East Bronx Council on the Aging, where I did runs for the Meals on Wheels program, and we actually did shopping for shut-in seniors. And that was a great experience for me. It's a shame that the program doesn't exist anymore.
It is.
Then I went straight into healthcare. First healthcare facility I worked in was Bishop McGovern Nursing Home in downtown Brooklyn. And when I walked in, even though it had Bishop McGovern's name on it, one of the most benevolent and charitable bishops in the Catholic diocese.
Absolutely.
They didn't treat us that way. They treated us workers horribly. So myself and two other workers, we fought hard to bring the union in. We signed enough people up to get an election. We won the election, at least we thought we did. The boss then said, where are we going with this? I don't recognize the election. We had to fight 2 years in court to make sure that we got our union representation. And that's what started me off in the union. 18 years later, working at 1199, I elevated myself on staff to become the political coordinator.
Yes.
And spent tireless days fighting for our members at 1199, gaining dignity in the workplace, good contracts, good decent paying jobs, good benefits, and fighting throughout this whole state, including in Brooklyn, to save our hospitals.
That's fantastic. Now, you've covered a lot of ground, I could say, in the last 20 years. You definitely, from the education realm, working and creating the union jobs. I mean, that is something so big because that still goes on. I want to touch upon that because there are a lot of people, especially in the food industry right now. Last year, if you recall, they had McDonald's workers, Burger King workers. They were fighting for that. We know from the business standpoint why they don't want it. But what do you think, what other necessary steps need to be done? Because even though it's not in the media anymore, we don't see it publicly on the face anymore, but the fight is still going on.
Absolutely. Well, there's a narrative right now that raising the minimum wage is bad for business.
Yes.
They just raised the minimum wage in Seattle, raised it to $15 an hour.
Did it really go through to that?
It
I wasn't
went
sure.
through. Yes, it did.
Go Seattle.
Yes, indeed. It's a shame we're following their footsteps, or at least trying to. Our current mayor and the new city council would like to raise the minimum wage. $15 an hour is what we would strive for, but the mayor needs permission from Albany. It's called local authorization for municipalities.
Okay.
But right now the narrative is if you raise the minimum wage, it's bad for business.
And why is that?
I can't wait. I'll tell you this, as someone that's been fighting for workers, my entire adult life, I can't wait to win this election so I can have an opportunity to go to Albany and sit in a room, and when we have this conversation about raising the minimum wage is bad for business, I'll be one of the people standing up saying that's the furthest thing from the truth. If you raise the minimum wage, it puts money in working people's pockets, and working people spend the money right in the local economy.
They do.
They buy food for the table. They buy clothes for their backs, and it's a boom for the economy. Businesses end up hiring more people to deal with the boom. And the double whammy is you get a little extra money in your paycheck. The state gets a little extra income tax revenue, which continues to be able to allow the state to provide the services and maybe avoid a transit fare hike. So raising minimum wage is a good thing. It creates a great cycle for the city and state, and we need to do it ASAP.
So why do you think there's such a fight down for this then?
I have no idea, but I'll tell you one thing. It's been proven over time the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and over my years I've learned how to squeak really loudly.
I hope you go, and I hope after September 9th, you squeak it there because we all need to benefit from that. A lot of our
Absolutely.
viewers work for minimum wage. A lot of Beyond Focus TV viewers can relate to this, where you're working 2 jobs just to make
2 and 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, especially with the raising rents in the community, and we're bringing a lot of those jobs in to Senate District 19. Gateway Mall, Canarsie Plaza, we're bringing in these box and chain stores that are starting people off at $9 an hour, which in New York City is unacceptable. We have the highest cost of living in the country.
Yes.
$9 an hour, you're practically forcing someone into slave labor because they have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. Then they have no time for their children, for their
Yes.
families, and then we wonder why we lose our children to the streets. We have to fight forward and move people forward. Raising the minimum wage moves people out of poverty. It creates a great cycle, and everything connected to it can move along also.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell everybody at home, Dell, why are you running?
Oh, that's a great question. So, I'm running because I live in Brooklyn my entire life. I'm raising my 3 children in the same community that I grew up in, and I see that Albany is broken, especially for districts like Senate District 19, the communities of East New York, parts of Brownsville, Starred City, Canarsie, Mill Basin, Bergen Beach, and Sheepshead Bay. I know we can do better. We pay taxes on this end of Brooklyn, East New York, Brooklyn, and South Brooklyn. We pay our taxes. We don't get our fair share of the funding. When it comes to Hurricane Sandy relief and Hurricane Sandy recovery, we have homeowners that still haven't been connected to the dollars and have
Absolutely.
spent much of their own money trying to recover, and they not being connected to funds and services, whether it's FEMA or Build It Back. We have schools. We're one of the few communities that have trailers in our schoolyards where kids are learning in a trailer because we failed to bring home resources to the community.
Del, hold that thought one quick second. We're running out of time for this segment. We'll be right back with you. We have a whole
Absolutely.
other half-hour special coming up right here with Dell Smitherman running for the state senate. Keep it right here. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and we're here with Dell Smithman, definitely giving us some insightful information, and I absolutely love everything that you're talking about, because September 9th, you all have to come out and make a difference. If you want to see a difference in your community, this definitely is the man right here who's going to make it happen, especially for your district that you're running for. It's going to make a world of difference. But before we left off, before the break, we were talking about why you're running.
Yep.
Let's elaborate on that.
So I left off at our trailers in our schoolyards where kids are learning in trailers because we failed to bring home resources. Another area where I see Albany just failing our community, once again, we talked about economic development and jobs.
Absolutely.
We're bringing jobs in. As a shopper, I'm glad I don't have to drive to Long Island anymore. But $9 an hour for the jobs we're bringing into the community, we can do better. And lastly, transportation is a big issue in this district. Much of the district is a transportation desert. Before Metro cards, much of the community was a two-fare zone, and even now we don't have enough transportation options. I would love to see a ferry at Canarsie Pier running to Manhattan, a ferry at Sheepshead Bay Pier running to Manhattan to give people, transportation is a bloodline for workers, and they need to have many options to be able to get around.
That's
And
true.
when we talk about transportation, we have two trains that run through this district, the L train and the 3 train. Both of them become elevated in the district, more than 7 stations each above ground. None of those stations are wheelchair accessible. This would not be accepted in another neighborhood. But once again, Albany has failed us. And I have to put this down at the incumbent's footsteps. He's had some issues with legal troubles, but I'm running for this race. Once again, we can't win. We can't wait to win. We have a right message about somebody that's come from the community, who's lived the issues, not above the issues. I am of the issues. I know what it's like to be short on your rent and wonder where you're going to get your rent from. I know what it's like to be threatened with foreclosure because you were predatory lend, and thank God for the Obama program that helped home care owners. So I've lived the issues. I know how to relate to what people are going through in the community. I'm a fighter for 18 years working at the union, making sure workers got dignity in the workplace and good paying jobs, and I'm going to win this election because we can do better.
I love it. We can do better is such a strong slogan. What would you say sets you apart? There's other people running, of course, but what sets you apart? We know what you're going to do, but what really sets you apart?
Well, once again, it goes to my background. My entire adult life, I've been a community organizer and labor organizer.
Very true.
Many of our elected officials get stuck in the rut of having services and information in their offices, and they think that's a victory. The people who need those services the most don't even know the office exists. I've learned from 1199 that you have to take your information to people. You can't do that from behind a desk. You have to grab a clipboard and take information where people are, their doorsteps, their churches. And we have a lot of community-based organizations, not-for-profits, that are doing it with very little resources. They're providing services that the community is attached to. So we don't need to replicate the wheel that's already in the community. We just need to make sure that those entities get good funding. I'm connected to a lot of those entities. I have overwhelming amount of endorsements in this race. We have over 40 endorsements from labor, advocacy groups, from elected officials, from Working Families Party, from other Dem clubs. We feel fantastic that support, that showing of support and from organizations and individuals that we trust. It's a clear message that this is who people want to work with to move the community forward. That's what sets me apart from the other candidates.
I think that's something excellent that sets you apart from the other candidates. And spending so much time working directly with the community and having lived in the area, I want to touch upon a little bit of the transportation because I'm frequently in the area. I have a lot of good friends in Canarsie, Mill Basin. And you do notice that once you get off the 3 train, 47 bus, I love you 47 bus, but I hate you at the same time, I have to say.
Yes.
The 47, the 35, I mean, those are buses. We need more transportation. That would be an issue we'll have to discuss with Albany,
Yes.
particularly regarding Brooklyn.
Yes. Definitely discuss it with Albany, but once again, I would like to start the conversation with some of the labor unions to make sure that we're being comprehensive in our thinking on ways that we can expand transportation in the community. The labor unions are the workers who provide the transportation. They know best where another line would work, where more buses on lines that we already have would work. So I would like to have the conversation with unions, with community, especially when you're talking about things like ferries. You want to make sure it's something that people would utilize. So
True.
we would definitely have to have a very comprehensive conversation with labor, with the community, and with MTA to make sure that we're providing the best transportation options in Senate District 19.
I love it. Now, because of all that great work that you've been doing, that's why you were the 2013 recipient at HabNet. You received an
Yes.
award. Let's talk about that.
Well, that was an honor. That was truly an honor. Many times I don't do this work for accolades, but the very few times that I have been honored and distinguished for receiving an award, I was truly honored. I got the 2013 HabNet Distinguished Community and Political Advocacy
Yes.
Award. And it was fantastic. HabNet is once again one of the organizations that's tied to the community, pushing for entrepreneurship, pushing for financial literacy. And this is an organization that I've worked with in the past at 1199 and also through my work at Working Families Party as a member for the last 10 years. And I know that they're connected to the community and the work they do improves our community.
It does.
So to get an award from HabNet was special for me. And it continued moving me in the right direction towards running for this seat.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we still have more time with you here. In the last segment, I really want to touch upon the message that you have for the people and anything like that. So we'll take a quick break and be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
My name is Stephanie Miles, and I am Miss Caribbean United States 2013, and you're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting down here with Dell Smitherman, who is the Democrat for State Senate, right here with us. So much great information. I absolutely love the information you're providing us with. Let's talk about affordable housing. Such a major, major issue. A lot of us, myself included, sometimes, rent goes up. Sometimes more than that 4% that it's supposed to. Let's talk about that.
Well, we've actually lost the fight up in Albany for over a decade, pushing 2 decades when it comes to rent regulations, vacancy decontrol, tenants' rights, and home affordability. That fight is coming up again in 2015. If we lose that fight in 2015, communities like Senate District 19 will lose the character that they have right now. Gentrification is continuing to creep eastward. We cannot price people out of the communities they've been in for 30 and 40 years.
Yes.
We need to There's a current formula that's been outdated. It's called the area median income. It doesn't create low income affordable housing. And with the jobs that we have in these communities, that's all that people can afford is low income affordable housing. We're starting to see people get evicted from NYCHA because they cannot afford a NYCHA rent. So
Yeah.
we have a real dynamic where we have to rework a formula that creates low income affordable housing. We're looking at 25% of someone's salary to 30% of someone's salary is really affordable, and even lower for our vulnerable parts of the community, our seniors,
Yes.
our disabled, our veterans. And I would like to push a bill to create a rent cap for seniors once they're on a fixed income.
Oh my goodness, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Repeat that one more time in case y'all were not paying attention.
I would definitely like to create a bill that would create a rent cap on our seniors once they're in a fixed income, that we cannot raise their rent when they're on a fixed income. I'm hearing horror stories right now.
Yes. It's September 9th, everybody. Just make sure, September 9th, go out and get your information. We talked about jobs a little bit. Let's talk about public safety.
Yes. Well, I'll jump right in. Public
right in.
safety, once again, I grew up in public housing. Public safety is something that I had to deal with growing up in pink houses. Even now, living in Canarsie, there's issues in Canarsie. I grew up when we had community officers. It was over 30 years ago, and I remember our two community officers' names to this day, Officer Myers, Officer Campbell. They knew everyone, and everyone knew them. So there was a different relationship when they policed the community. They were more looking out for the community than policing the community. When they knew every child and who every mother that was connected to that child, if they saw you doing something you shouldn't have been doing, they took you home to your parent. And they told the parent what you were doing. And they were more of a role model influence than a policing influence. We have to get back to removing the wedge between the community and our
Yeah.
police precincts. And it will go a long way to getting rid of crime. When the community and the police are working together, the community will tell you who the negative influences are in the community.
Yes.
Another thing is that we need to make sure that we have our interaction. Recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we had National Night Out. I went to at least 6 of the precincts National Nights Out. I saw a lot of activity. I didn't see a lot of integration of the police with the community. They were still on their posts.
Yes.
I would have loved to see a baseball game or a basketball game with mixed squads, and it becomes a whole different dynamic when you play a basketball game with a kid and then you bump into him while you're on your beat. Now
That's
you know
true.
his name, now you got something to talk about, and if there is a situation, you'll diffuse it instead of escalating the situation.
Very true.
We have to get back to finding a way to repair relationships and move the city forward.
Absolutely. Why don't you let everybody at home know your contact information, how we can get onto your website, because you can donate, and there's still time to volunteer if you want to come out and be a part of this big day on September 9th. We're looking for volunteers still.
Absolutely.
Where can we get in contact with you?
Well, I'll tell you, you can get in contact. My office is 447 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207. That's between Wyona and it's between Vermont Avenue. It's right off of Pennsylvania Avenue in East New York.
Yeah, I was going to say it, very east.
Very easy. 2 buses, a train right nearby. Our website, www.dellsmitherman.com. And we have ample amount of information, my platform issues, news clips, and everything else.
That is wonderful. And now that we got you on the motion of telling everyone what you've been working for, this is your time. I want you to say a direct message to the viewers and why they need to come out September 9th.
Sure. Viewers, voters, we have an opportunity to move our community forward. None of our elected officials are new in the area. I'm running against an incumbent in Senate District 19 that's been there for 18 years. 18 years of failure in our community. Once again, our education system is failing us. We have kids learning in trailers instead of school buildings. We need to bring resources home. Our transportation system is failing us. We have homeowners and renters that haven't been able to recover from Hurricane Sandy because they haven't been connected to services or funds. We have a disconnect between our state elected officials and our community. I'm one that has organized the community to fight for hospitals to stay open. I've organized the community for the millionaire's tax back in 2005. I've organized the community through partnerships, coalitions, which have worked for me my entire adult life, coalitions with churches, coalitions with labor organizations, and coalitions with community-based organizations to push through the paid sick time leave and the Community Safety Act, which ended stop and frisk. So if you want to move your community forward, you can do it with a vote for Dell Smitherman. We can do better. We must do better for our children, for our seniors, and for everyone in Senate District 19. Lydia, I thank you for the time today.
You are very, very welcome, and I want to remind everybody September 9th is such a big day. If you live in the district, rather, you're in the area, this is the person you're going to want to vote for. So September 9th, come out. They can vote as early as the morning. It's a usual 12-hour poll. Most stations are going to be open. And once again, give very quickly your contact information.
Once again, our office is on 447 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207, between Wyona and Vermont, off of Pennsylvania Avenue, 15 bus, 83 bus, and a 3 train to Pennsylvania. Our website, www.dellsmitherman.com. And we love to have you come through and volunteer, or if you can come and make a contribution to help push this campaign through the victory line. We're going to win. I can't wait to win so I can jump out of bed to go represent you up in Albany.
Absolutely. Dell, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Beyond Focus TV. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. Stay with us. We'll be back again, same time, same place next week. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.